Your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief keeps you informed about what's happening in Annapolis and Arundel County and Maryland. Local news, local sports, local events, local opinion, and, of course, local weather. Your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief starts now.
Good morning. It's Friday, February 17th, 2023. This is John Frenaye, and this is your Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief presented by Annapolis Subaru and the SPCA of Anne Arundel County. You ever have one of those days where nothing seems to go right? Well, that was my Thursday for me, and it started like at 6:15 a.m. But hey, it is Friday, so now a fresh slate. Well, there is some news, and we have Canines and Crosstreks a little bit later, so sit back, relax, and let's get into it, shall we? Well, the Anne Arundel County School Board passed a whopping $1.75 billion operating budget, an increase of nearly $150 million over last year. Much of that is going to payroll with a 6% COLA increase for all, catching up teachers on their step increases, and hiring many people in special education and other areas. Now, just after that news broke, County Executive Pittman signaled that a tax increase is coming. In a statement, he praised the board for their unanimous vote and said that it's always hard to ask the taxpayers to step up and invest in education. He said that this vote gave his budget team a strong signal for the budget and that it will be time for tough choices. Put it into a most simplistic way, based on 600,000 residents in Anne Arundel County, children included, that would work out to $250 per person just to fund the increase. Bill Wagner at the Capitol had a great story on Severna Park resident Travis Pastrana. He qualified for the Daytona 500. He was trying and he scored it. This is the first time for Pastrana, and he will be racing the number 67 car for the 23XI Racing Toyota team. Congrats to Travis, and you do want to check out Wag's article in the Capitol. He's got all the details there. The Baltimore Business Journal had an article I found kind of interesting. The Marlowe is a 472-unit apartment building in Columbia. It's a relatively new one, but a pop-up hotel is moving into part of it. A company called Y Hotel, and it's all one word, is a D.C. firm, and they're going to be renting 115 rooms, well, actually, I guess apartments, by the night, the week, the month, or the year. It's kind of a cool concept for travelers. You get a furnished apartment instead of just a room. But I'll tell you, if I lived there, I'm not sure I'd want 115 transients in the building all the time. Sort of like that whole Airbnb brouhaha we have brewing here in Annapolis, but just on a little bit of a different level. Congratulations to Jared Lippman of K&B True Value, who scored the Annapolis Restaurant Week prize of a gift card to Tuscan Prime. He and his lovely wife will have a nice dinner there sometime. Remember, the Annapolis Restaurant Week is February 25th through March 5th. You can go to AnnapolisRestaurantWeek.com. That's where you want to go to learn more. And right here is where you want to go to win a $50 gift card to Smashing Grapes. Be the first one to tell me what Scott McMullen's legal brief was about this week. And that card is yours. And no, Scott, you can't win. Today on Canines and Crosstreks, we meet the lovely Bella. She is a Yorkie Chihuahua mix with an oversized personality. Listen now, and then you want to check out eyeonannapolis.net at noon for irresistible photos and information on how you can give Bella her forever home. And don't forget, on Sunday the 19th from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., Hearts and Hounds at the mall. Bring your pups and meet at Paws at the Mall and get some indoor exercise and learn about keeping your dogs and your own heart healthy. As we wrap up, do me a huge favor and sign up for our weekly newsletter of events in the area. It does go out on Fridays at noon 30, and you can sign up on the forum at eyeonannapolis.net, or I'm going to leave a link right here in the show notes. Many thanks in advance, as always. Here is some podcast news for you. Tomorrow on the Local Business Spotlight, we're going to hear from Patty Slaughter and the Bernie House. And that is a wonderful, small but mighty organization. And they do have a great party coming up on the 25th. And speaking of the 25th, I do hope you caught the bonus pod that we dropped yesterday afternoon with Matt Blashaw from HGTV's Yard Crashers and Build It Forward. He's going to be at the Annapolis Homeowners Expo on the 25th and 26th. And if you want to go, use the code I, all caps, that's EYE. And up to 2 tickets will be on us. The website for that is thehomeownersexpo.com. Again, thehomeownersexpo.com. All right, now it is time to say thank you for listening and putting up with us every day. I do hope we add some value to your world, and if we do, please leave a review somewhere or tell a friend to give us a listen. We also want to thank our sponsors, Annapolis Subaru, the SPCA of Anne Arundel County, Solar Energy Services, Hospice of the Chesapeake, and Alpha Engineering. It's Friday and the weekend is here, so now it's time to just say have a great weekend, be nice to others, do something fun, and keep shopping local. Other than that, we're going to see you on Monday. Now hang tight because George Young from DCMDVA Weather here is with the only locally forecast weather report you're going to find. And Kelly, Bella, Dr. John Martin, and I are coming up in Canines and Crosstreks. So do hang around. All that in just a bit.
Hello, energy consumers. This is Rick Peters, president of Solar Energy Services. Have you been looking for ways to save money recently? Maybe you should consider solar energy for your home. Or are you waiting for the technology to get cheaper? If so, how long are you going to wait? Today's solar costs less than 20% of what it cost 10 years ago. But while solar prices have declined every year, so have the financial incentives. Bottom line, if you wait for cheaper solar, you're also waiting for lower incentives. Take my home, for example. My solar system was installed in 2010, and it's been paid off for almost 5 years, and I no longer have to buy any electricity for another 15 to 20 years. If I waited for cheaper solar, I'd still be paying an electric bill. At Solar Energy Services, we have thousands of satisfied customers who are sure glad they didn't wait. So what are you waiting for? Sunshine's a wasted. Call us today for a free solar design at 410-923-6090 or on the web at solarsaves.net.
Sunshine, sunshine, nothing else can make me feel so fine.
When you live near Annapolis, you know how fickle the weather can be. So you need a truly local forecast that's accurate and reliable. Forecast right here in Annapolis. DCMDVA weather is not just for today, but for the rest of the week and the weekend too. Now here's George Young of DCMDVA weather with the weather outlook for today and beyond.
Hey everyone, this is George with DCMDVA Weather, and this is your Eye on Annapolis forecast for Friday, February 17th. It was a rainy day yesterday, but still warm and comfortable, and while we might see a bit more rain this morning, temps are about to take a brief plunge downward into the cold zone to start the weekend. Look for warm highs again today in the low 60s, but only in the morning, as temps will then fall into the upper 40s in the afternoon as a cold front moves through the region, and winds will shift to a colder northwest direction, and then they'll become gusty too, with gusts up to 40 miles per hour at times, ahead of a chilly, albeit sunny day Saturday, with highs across the Annapolis region only in the mid to upper 40s as winds remain breezy throughout the day. But Sunday will bounce back nicely, with sunny highs in the lower mid-50s ahead of more sunshine and mid to upper 50s Monday for President's Day, with the rest of the week filled with 50s and 60s, with a couple of rain chances along the way. Okay, that's it for today and this week. This is George Young of DCMDVA Weather. Make it a great day and weekend out there. Stay healthy and be safe, and don't forget, follow DCMDVA Weather on Facebook and Twitter for regular updates each day, along with the website at dcmdvaweather.info. And definitely be sure to download the DCMDVA Weather app on all of your devices from either the Apple or Google App Stores, so you can always stay weather informed.
Coping with advanced illness can be overwhelming, and determining the best options for a loved one isn't always so easy. But here at Hospice of the Chesapeake, your hometown hospice, we want you to know you do have a choice. You can choose exactly who provides the care and the type of care you receive, and it's your decision when and where your loved one receives that care. We have served our community, family, and friends for over 40 years. We are there when you need us. Learn how we can help at hospicechesapeake.org.
That can only mean one thing. We're headed to the SPCA of Anne Arundel County with Annapolis Subaru to play with the pups for this week's Canines and Crosstreks. Sponsored by Annapolis Subaru. Higher standards.
I love these animals here, man. We got Bella, who is a little Chihuahua mixie, with us today here at the SPCA of Anne Arundel County. And we don't have Billy from Annapolis Subaru because he decided to go, I think he's in Tahiti.
That's
is that where he's...
Lucky him.
I know he's on vacation. So we are here with Kelly Brown, who is the president of the Anne Arundel County SPCA. And the star of the show is Bella, which is a little Yorkshire something mix, isn't she?
Yes, we believe she's Yorkshire Terrier Chihuahua mix.
Okay.
Which I don't know. She's awfully cute, but she's black and tan, and she's about 7 years old, and she is just a joy to be with. She's super friendly with everyone, as you can see.
She's just
jumping up on your lap.
off the walls.
Yeah.
Just jumping up and down.
Loves to take walks. Anyone she meets, cats, dogs, people, she's great with everybody.
How long has she been here? And
She's been here about 2 weeks.
Okay. And what's her story on how did she come here? Was she just surrendered?
She was actually surrendered. I believe she was abandoned somewhere, and then somebody took her over for a little while. I know, who can leave that girl anywhere? And then they took her over for a little while and decided, it wasn't for them. Yeah,
it was
exactly.
too much. I get that sometimes.
So we will find Bella a fabulous home.
Also joining us today is Dr. John Martin, who we actually spoke with on a podcast a little bit ago, but you are the CEO, founder of the Heart Health Foundation and the Heart Healthy Maryland Initiative and the Dare to Care Initiative. How are you?
I'm doing great, and I'm enjoying Bella's company as well.
Oh, no kidding. I mean, she just jumped right up on your lap. I saw you doing the selfies.
Well, she knows a dog lover when she sees one.
That's right.
Annapolis Subaru, have you given your socks?
We are collecting them like crazy here, and we are turning them into it because they're doing it for the Lighthouse Shelter.
Yep, which is a dire need for shelters, all across the country, but certainly our own Lighthouse. And I know that we haven't had a really bad winter, but socks are needed year round. And I did my part. Look at that, man. I had 74 pairs delivered to the Subaru.
That's what Billy said. Billy said if you want to, just have them shipped directly to Subaru.
They're at 149 Old Solomon's Island Road.
And they're also going to be collecting socks at Hearts and Hounds on Sunday. Oh,
that's right. That's on Sunday. That's Hearts and Hounds. That's in conjunction with Heart Month.
That's right. We actually get together every year, and I don't know how many years has it been now, Kelly, but it's been
2013 or 2014 was the first year.
Yeah, and I think the two foundations actually work very well together because of some really important statistics where pets actually make a big difference on heart health. And so we joined forces for this event, and it's one of the one that's the most fun as well as informative for the public.
I would say, get out and walk your dog. It's got to help.
There's some surprising statistics that are actually beyond that because it obviously makes sense. The more you exercise, the better it is. And animals get you going every day. They also actually lower the stress in the house, unless they're sick, at which point they actually raise the stress.
Right.
In the house.
And then we all stress out.
But other surprising statistics is if you actually own a dog, it actually lowers your chances of having a heart attack. And if, in fact, you're unfortunate enough to have a heart attack, it improves your chances of survival. We've also seen lower blood pressure in dog owners and lower cholesterol. So there's some really positive reasons as to why we actually do this event together, other than it's a heck of a lot of fun to see a whole bunch of dogs at the mall.
They do say that petting an animal does lower your blood pressure.
And there's nothing better than coming home from having a really crappy day at work or something like that, and even if your spouse or your partner is grumpy at you,
yes,
there's no dog that hates you when you come home.
That's the whole beauty. They always love you no matter what. And if you're looking for a good one and you need to get prompted to do exercise, Bella's a perfect choice because she's got lots of energy.
Oh my gosh, she should have 3 more legs with all the energy that she's running around here.
And the good thing also that they do say is research does show that, the social bond between cats and dogs and humans is that 80% of pet owners say that their pets make them feel less lonely. And it also helps with reducing social isolation. And that makes sense because, as people age, sometimes they just feel socially isolated. And if you have your pet there, hey, you have everything you need, right? There's heart health for pets too. And so I just wanted to share some information that I think is important because the community doesn't always know that there is heart disease in pets also. So 10% of dogs and 15% of cats actually do suffer from heart disease. None of us really think about that because, years ago, there just wasn't a such thing as a cardiologist for pets. But there is now, and it's CVCA right here on Bestgate. And they actually have 5 different locations. And it's fabulous because, as with humans and stuff, actually it's any age, cats and dogs can have this heart disease. I remember I had a cat who was 2 years old with heart disease.
You don't think about that.
No, you really don't. And there are certain breeds that actually are at higher risk. And I just wanted to share the dog breeds that are higher risk for heart disease are Cavalier King Charles Spaniels. But I don't want dog owners out there now all paranoid that their dogs have this. It's just they are at risk. Dachshunds, miniature or toy poodles, Doberman pinschers, boxers, golden retrievers, and miniature schnauzers. And then also for cats, there are the breeds that are more likely to get heart disease is Maine Coons, American Shorthairs, Persians, Ragdolls, and Sphinxes.
That's weird. The breeds that you mentioned with the dogs are, I mean, if you gave me all like the hunting breeds or the, the little toy breeds or something like that, I would think that. But I mean, they seem to be all over the place. I mean, from a King Charles,
Yeah, exactly. And there's also, there's symptoms, the most common signs and symptoms that are most critical that you should take your pet to a board certified veterinary cardiologist to be evaluated is a persistent cough, difficulty breathing, fainting or collapsing. So you can imagine these would all freak us out as pet owners. And then also sometimes there's abdominal swelling. So these are not signs to ignore. You should definitely get your animal into your vet. And then the other common indicators is just less tolerance for exercise. You may see them that you're used to walking a certain distance and you're seeing that they just don't want to go any further and want to go home sooner. That's also a sign that something might be going on. Or it might not be, it might be something else, but at the same time, a change in heart rate, change in body weight, and restlessness or hiding. So those are all things that you should not ignore if any of your pets are doing that.
And it totally makes sense. I mean, I remember growing up, I mean, it was, you took them to the vet maybe every couple of years, got the rabies shot updated and the shots updated, but there was never really any care for animals. But I mean, they're family members that are with you for 10, 15 years.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the same things that we think about in humans, dogs have. It's very common. For instance, mitral valve disease, a very common thing in humans, very common in dogs, and it leads to heart failure, which is actually one of the most common things we actually see in humans. And I think what's been great about the evolution of care in animals is that we now have specialists. They've developed great medications that actually make a difference. And because of it being different than we grew up, where you just had a dog and you almost never went to the vet, when you got shots. Now, if you take them regularly and make it a routine part of how you care for your animal, they live a long time, and we all know we hate to see them go.
You know what? That's like that's like a life lesson, because anything. I mean, you take care of your car.
That's right. It's
you
true.
Take care of a Subaru. I mean, you can buy one for your life.
And another symptom not to ignore, because a lot of times you just think, oh, well, they ate something or something upset their stomach, but loss of appetite. You'll see that they just don't want to eat, or they eat less, and that's a sign too that a lot of people might think it's something else. So many of us don't think
wouldn't be just a one-off type of a thing.
Right.
It would be like
it would be
a couple
in conjunction
days
with those other things.
or
exactly.
something like that.
And if you are, it's like early detection in humans, John. I'm sure you can you can relate to this. But if it's early detection and you're able to medicate them, like you just shared, they actually live 75% longer. So that's for
that's
pets
a huge
too.
statistic.
It's a huge difference. Yeah.
Kelly, you mentioned the signs of what to look for your pet when you get sick, with the appetite and the swollen belly possibly, and the lack of energy and stuff like that. Same type of a thing for a human there, Dr. Martin?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm looking at my belly right now going, oh, man.
I think that's a cheeseburger. I don't think that's it. But I think what we typically see with heart attacks, obviously chest pain radiating down the left arm or jaw pain are the classic signs or symptoms of a heart attack. But they can be strange. You can just get short of breath. You can feel your heart beating quickly. Nausea and vomiting sometimes can be there. And what's really important to understand is women typically have atypical symptoms. So if you feel off and something doesn't feel quite right, the other thing to really think about is are you a person that could be at greater risk? So if you have high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, as well as a smoking history or family history, and you have some weird symptoms that just don't fit and you don't feel right, don't sit home. If you don't know, you need to go see a doctor and try to check it out. I think it's really important.
That's a huge statistic. Well, this is fun. I mean, we got the Sunday, which is the 19th at the Annapolis Mall, right outside of Paws at the Mall, which I love the name of it, which is the Hearts and Hounds Walk at 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. And I know Annapolis Subaru is going to be there giving away dog tags.
If you donate socks.
If you donate socks. So bring your
it's
socks.
A give and take.
Can you take your shoes off and give them your own, or does it have to be a special
I don't know.
socks?
That would be up to Billy.
Billy has asked for clean socks.
Yeah.
Oh, clean socks. He's made that request.
He did specify no used socks, so you could try, though.
I just will mention, too, because we did do our podcast with you, Dr. Martin, and you've got at the Kaufman Theater for Performing Arts, there is a panel and a discussion on heart disease in communities of color, which is and we discussed about how big of an issue that really is. And that's going to be really a fascinating discussion. I'm looking forward to being there. Wednesday the 22nd at 7 p.m.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. It's such a critical event. If you look at the state of Maryland, as for an example, we're actually approaching about 50% of our population are of color. And the gap is actually widening in detection, care, and outcomes in communities of color. So it's a really important event. We have both national and state leaders coming to discuss this important subject, and we would encourage everyone. It's free. Please come, and you're going to learn something, and then you can send a very loud message to leaders across the state how important it is to address this issue.
We should, for humans and for puppies.
That's right.
Well, I'll tell you, if you need to adopt Bella, which I think you absolutely should. I mean, she's great with kids.
Oh, yeah.
She's great with, older people. I mean, she's the perfect companion.
She really is.
She's a very, very special dog. And every day, I'm waiting to see if actually Kelly goes home with the dog.
It's so odd.
They've bonded so quickly, but I think it's just a great example of the kind of animals that you see at the SPCA that can just change your life. And it's not just adopting a pet, it's changing your life when you have one of these, and lowers your stress, improves your heart health. What could be better than that? And you have a friend for their lives that never let you down.
It's a win-win.
AACSPCA.org is where you want to go. Check out our pictures of Bella. She's such a cutie. And AnnapolisSubaru.com would be where you want to go to talk to about a Crosstrek or any of their other great vehicles. And if you want to go to Annapolis Subaru to drop off socks, they're at 149 Old Solomon's Island Road, which is just, if you're at Chevy's, you can see it across the street. Give some socks, help our community out. Come out on Sunday from 8 to 11 at the mall. Bring your well-behaved pup. Well-behaved, right? They can't be crazy pups.
They can't. Well, I don't know. Some pups are just crazy. But as long as they're leashed. How about that?
Bring your leashed, moderately well-behaved pup.
There you go.
To the mall. And there's going to be all sorts of information to learn about heart health as well. Obviously, we talked about the heart benefits of having a pet and having a dog, but the health department will be there and all sorts of resources as well.
Yeah, fire department will be there with the instructions on CPR, which is so critically important. We have key foundations that are there to talk about sudden cardiac death, so there'll be some great information for people to share. And it's always fun to both have fun and learn all at the same time.
AACSPCA.org, AnnapolisSubaru.com, and we're going to see you all on Sunday at the mall at 8 a.m. I may not be there at 8, but maybe 9:30, but it starts at 8. We'll see you guys next week.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
The benefits of a good night's sleep are well documented. Sleeping well prevents weight gain, improves concentration and creativity, and boosts the immune system. So, what keeps you up at night? If you run a business, then the security of your computer network may be one of those things. Threats like ransomware and phishing are becoming increasingly sophisticated and pose a real risk to any business. Don't let these cyber threats keep you up at night. At Alpha, they've been helping their customers sleep better for over 30 years by monitoring in real time and hardening network defenses. And for those irritating IT issues that arise every day, Alpha's just a phone call away, helping your business run smoothly and helping you sleep better, knowing Alpha is on guard. Give Alpha a call to see if they can ease your worries and help you get the rest you deserve. Find them at alphagetsit.com.
You've been listening to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. Tell your friends and colleagues, this is the podcast where you can keep up on the latest with what's going on in Annapolis and Anne Arundel County. And don't forget about our website, eyeonannapolis.net, where you can find even more information. And make sure you follow us on Facebook at All Annapolis and on Twitter at EyeOnAnnapolis. This Daily News Brief podcast comes to you every Monday through Friday at 6 a.m.